Welcome back and welcome new viewers. I was just waiting a little bit longer. Here comes my cat. Come on, baby. Come here. She was enjoying the window and she's on my lap. Not sure if I can show you. There she is. She's on my lap as I am over here in my little sewing area. Oh, you want to say hi? Huh? I'm just waiting a couple of minutes before I get started. I am going to be finishing up, and you get to see that she sits on my lap. She is a true lap kitty, and there she goes. She knows when I'm about to start filming, and she comes to say hi. I don't know. She comes to say hi to everybody. So today I am going to be finishing up, and I saved it to do it on live stream. This is a vintage German skipper doll. Sold only in the European market in 1972. And let me see if I can get a little bit of a closer look for her. And the bathing suit that she is wearing, it is a very beautiful and tricky little bathing suit to do. And over the years, I have been mastering it. And I'll show you in another video one that I did and kept. So the bathing suit style is 8519, which comes with the doll. So if you do 8519 research or look for it on the search engine, you'll be able to see her, and you'll be able to see all the other styles that I have listed at my Ko-fi shop. So I am going to sew this one. I mainly did everything already, and the design always comes out this low. I adjusted it so it'd be kind of more decent at the top, and the bathing suit's already sewn in, as you see here in the bottom. And on the back, I have already folded over. So you can see right here, folded over so that when I sew it together, because it's going to be sewn together like this one. So that is the goal, to do it like that. When it comes to the skirt, I never have a set inch. I always do a long piece, as you see right here. And that is because every time my pleats come out different. If I do a pleat, I do them at the same time because my rhythm and my tightening of the pleat gets done depending on my mood. So I'm going to be very careful and do this. So if you want to know how much I am taking here, what happened to my, oh, it should be right here. I have different type of tape measures, and I always use them for different things. And I'm looking for blue, my blue plastic one, and but I'm going to be using the typical one. So right over here it is 1 inch, so it's 2 inches folded over, and I am going to sew this because if you cut it any smaller, it's going to be too hard to manage. And this way I have 2 inches folded, and we're going to put Skipper here to the side. Excuse me. I have my coffee here ready, so I'm going to take a sip before I start. Oh, I got last the last of it, the little grounds. So that was not good. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do now, oh, those little grounds are not good. So I am going to be very careful. I'm using my thread ripper, and for the first one, I already have it in there. So for the first one, I'm going to fold it like so, and then I always have to do the other one right there. And this is going to be a very slow and steady process. And if you see any of my other videos, that's what I do. I always say it's slow and steady. And this is the way that I can guarantee myself that I'm going to be having. And let me show you what I do when I'm doing that. I'm just going to do so that you can see. This is my vintage sewing machine. So on the side, I am holding it, and this is what I do. One of the reasons why I love it, because I'm going at a snail inch. So I'm going to do one more. And that is the precision that I have when doing this. So I did not measure, I just took a piece of the material. And if this does not work, it should work. And what I'm meaning, like, if it doesn't work, if it's not long enough to go through her waist. I could sew it. Let's try to sew it with the machine. I will try to be a big girl and do it. And over here at the end, I leave this open and blank. On the other side, I sewed it in, and I'll show you. I folded it in. So in this part, I leave it open because I want to fold it. Let me see, where she go. I want to fold it in just like this one. So one, I have one tip like this. So this is a tip right here in anticipation. So what I do is I come back to this point right here. So this is the finishing, and even though it's going to be the finishing part, everything is very time consuming for this bathing suit. So now that I have the little pleats, I'm going to test this out on Skipper. Remember when I showed you I had this? So this, in theory, is going to go right here, go across and around. So I should have plenty. So now what I'm going to do is fold this in. So this is part of the material and how it was. I just took the last of it. So I'm going to undo this. I pre-sewed it earlier to keep it down and to make sure that I'm able to do a straight sewing so it does not, curve, because it does. Fabric has a tendency. It's almost like writing on a chalkboard or on a blank piece of paper. You think you're writing on a straight line, and then you find out that you are writing on a curve. So same thing, same principle on the material. So I'm using the very edge of this because, as you saw, I don't have that much material. So I'm going to clean this up so that it doesn't look like any fuzzy on the inside, because it is transparent. Sometimes you can tell what's on the inside. Okay, so now I'm going to do the end of this. And I figured you'd like to see, maybe one or two of you would like to see how I do this. So I'm barely going to be able to get two. And this is what I'm talking about, sewing on a curve. You see that? But that was the last end of it. But I can go ahead and sew it like this. Want to be able to match the pleat like this one. So this is how I'm going to set it because I want it to look just like the original. So I am only going to set it with the pin right now because now I have to do the little underwear. We are not done. I'm just going to set it so that I don't lose it because my wrist or my elbow is going to move it. I am not placing it, how should I say, I'm not adjusting it. I'm just doing this so that we can have some visual, some satisfaction, and I'm going to set this to the side. Now, I had pre-done already a pink panty, and let's take a look at the vintage original. It has an attached panty. So I already had done this one. That's an excellent close one. So I already had pre-basted this, and I still have my thread here. But then I realized that what I have listed has yellow. So here's a little bit left over the yellow. And I pre-basted it in, oh, kitty cat. So I'm going to move this to the side. I'm going to get it. And here is the pre-basted one already. So you can see, oh my goodness. You can see here is my needle and thread. So what I'm going to do is sew it. Let me get this out. And I need to pre-base this number one because this is knit material. Very hard to sew. And it is stretchy. So what I do is I set it and then I just continue. And I do need to take that other thread out eventually. So I have a long tail here so that I have something to grasp. And the street sweeper is coming, so you're going to hear some noise. And you may hear my cat make some noise, run around, jump on me. They really get scared. And then my dog is here, and I'm babysitting the little Chihuahua. That if you're avid followers and viewer, you get to see that I have Leela, the little Chihuahua. So she's in my room as well, and they're being very, very good. They are tolerating each other. Okay, so this is the sewing behind, and this is the sewing on the outside. So I am going to start pulling this. Okay, so I'm pulling from the other side, so let's see if I can get it all. Alright, it's stuck somewhere, so I managed to do that. think it's stuck. I sewed on top of it and it's stuck. It's stuck in there, so I'm going to be very careful. So there we have the little panty. And it's so small. So I'm kind of like patting it down because I kind of scrunched it up, trying to get it kind of down. Okay, so it's coming. So my cat is making her movement. All right. So I'm going to move it up so you can get to see. So in theory, I just want to see this much of the skirt. So I am making a visual with my eye that when I sew it, I need to have that much out. And I have this here. So I'm going to do, okay, so let's do this here. Do that for now. So what I'm going to do here is I want to see where this lands. Because number one, I don't want the bottom of this to show. So this is where we're at. And this is where the vintage is. So I am making a visual that it needs to be like over here. So I'm having them side to side. So I don't want to cut this out. So it needs to be there. So about 1/8 of an inch. And I don't want to cut this either. So here's the pin. So I'm going to try to sew it from here, from this edge. And let's see how we do. So every bathing suit that I do, it's always different positions. And here is where this needs to end. So I'm going to put it here, have a hold of it, and this helps me on this side. Okay, there goes the little chihuahua. I'm gonna comfort them. Hi, sweeties. Hi, sweeties. They're underneath my feet. Okay. So let's do this. Okay. It looks crooked here, so I am going to lift this part up. Where is it starting? And since I am here, I'm going to make sure. Okay, it's a little bit lower here. So part of it being crooked is that let's do this here. I'm going to be lifting this a little bit higher. It's better for me to do this on this side. And when you're sewing, if you're sewing or you're a beginner, this is why this exists, so that you can take apart on the seam for this very reason. Before you continue on with the sewing, just make sure that everything is even, symmetrical. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to be lifting this a little bit higher. Okay, this is, see how I have some over here? So I wonder, so let me do this now. And this time I'm going to loosen up the thread because I did have a little bit of trouble there. Okay. So it is definitely over here it is low. Over here it is high. And let's see what it looks like on Skipper. Actually, it looks really good. That's what we're going to see, and you see that little part over here, that's where the little bathing suit's going to go. And let's bring the other one. It's pretty good. I'm really happy with it, so we're going to leave it where it's at. Any higher and the bathing suit's going to be lower. So in the back, let's take a look in the back. I need it, and there we go. So now that I have the skirt, we're going to need to do the little panty. So I'm going to get rid of all this thread. I am not going to put a serger here because it's going to make it very bulky. It's already bulky enough. We have 2 layers of fabric. We have the pleat, and then we have these layers of fabric. So doing a serger leaves it a lot bulkier. So all I'm going to do right now is basically trim it because I'm going to put the panty on. And I am measuring it to make sure it's even and it's straight over here. When I do this, I get to see that it is even and it is straight up here too. So now, did I just throw my little panty? My little yellow panty? Okay, here it is. So when you're doing this, you have it folded up. The panty needs to be facing this way. So because I'm going to sew it, I'm going to sew it right there. And don't worry, oops, that was me. Don't worry if you're doing this for a skirt or anything else. Don't worry if it's longer because you're going to be sewing this anyways. But you do need to make sure that the center is right at the middle. So this is the middle, and this is how you're going to be guaranteed that we are in the middle point, because this is kind of like an offset. It's kind of tricky. So that is my middle. So I basically put it right there as it should be and pin it. And now I am going to be sewing the panty on. Oops. It was too short, and I really thought I was going to be able to make it. All right. Because this is a stretch knit, it does have the tendency, you see how it's bubbling? You see how it's like a little bubble there? It does have the tendency of doing that. So I am going to be doing this slowly because I have my pin there. And then just continue on. And I'm using always the edge of my sewer foot as my ruler. So let's take a look. Let me see here. So I sewed it right on the edge, so there's no cutting to do. The next thing that I'm going to be doing, and we are almost done. So the next thing I need to do is adjust this side by side, and I am going to sew very carefully up here. I'm actually going to hold this. I'm going to hold it like this. This is the tricky part, very tricky. So there is my pin, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to manage to fold this like in fold them away so that my needle does not, see how I did like a little flip. So fold it. Oh, my kitty cat. All right, kitty cat, come on. She's so gentle. There she goes. She's like very careful. She's walking like in slow motion so that I don't see her. Both girls are there, but I have my stash of fabrics, and we are going to continue to finish this off. So what I'm doing now, again, is I'm folding this whichever way. You can fold it this way. I just want to get this out of the way so that I don't inadvertently sew on it. So there we go. There. I am so much in the edge here. I feel that I'm on it right now, so I'm going to leave it as it is right now. I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to take a look, and there we go. And let's see what it looks like. Okay, so that's what it looks like right now. I could go ahead and sew a little bit more. And I'm going to do the same thing again, fold it away. Or fold it up. Now that I have that done, I could fold this up and keep it down. So we are in the little finishing touches right now. So now this time I fold it up. I'm still a ways away. Let's do this again here. So I have a little bit of bad news. We're going to do this all over again. And I'm going to take this apart. So it's just a little bit of bad news. So it's going to probably add 5 more minutes. Alright, here we go. So I was wondering why it was easy for me to flip this over. Alright, there we go. So it was easy for me to flip this over because I didn't sew it. So I'm going to sew this into place. And that's why it's going to be trickier once I do that. But it helps it for the look of the sewing machine. Okay. And here we go. Alright. Oh my goodness. Let's get this out of the way. There we go. So many little steps, but it is such an adorable bathing suit. A lot of sewing in here. So now I'm going to take this out because it is not going to go anywhere. And I don't want the bulkiness for Skipper. Just got to be very careful not to cut into the panty and not to cut into the top. Alright. So I'm going to try this again, and you see me cutting into all the threads. And this is what it looks like on the inside. Very nice. So let's do this again. You get to see what I see, which is the white part here. And let's start from the top. Okay, I put it in there, but now I'm going to move. I don't think you get to see it. I just moved the skirts out of the way. Oh goodness, not again. I was way too focused on one thing. Okay, there we go. And you know that I am moving the skirts out of the way. The other thing is that, here we go, the panties need to be aligned. I'm sorry for my big fingers. That was in the way. So let's take a look. Alright, so this is really nice. This is basically as close as I'm going to get in there. And I'm going to sew it again for good measure. It is such a small piece, but it's so important to get this part right. So I'm doing it again. I am moving this out of the way, and I'm going to sew it from the bottom up this time. Alright, so this is the part that's the part where I sew it over and over again to make sure that in due time it does not come out. So I'm just going to take a quick look, and I'm going to connect the panty. So it's looking so darling, so cute. This is the wonderful back. And I'm going to be sewing the bottom. And the last thing that I'm going to do, which you're not going to see, is me putting on the snap like this one right here. So we're going to get Skipper in a little while. And going to cut it right there. So I didn't cut all of it because I'm going to test this on Skipper, and if it's too low or too tight, I'm going to adjust it. So as a visual, let me see if I have it here. Let me see. As a visual, this is what we have. And I'm going to put this on Skipper. So I adjusted this to make sure it's going to fit her nice in here. Oh, it's perfect. perfect along her little panty area. And when I'm done, I'm going to add fray check to the edges. And here is the back. So I'm going to put the snap back here. And I'm going to do the little setup, putting them side by side. My Skipper's hair is all messed up, and her hair, that's because I was tossing and turning her. And let's take our final look. I'm going to set them down because my camera is adjusted just to be in this area here. Much easier, much better. So there are the two bathing suits side by side. Here is my ready-made little ribbon, which I'm going to sew right here. And there we have it. Cute little bathing suit, and let me give you a close-up so that you can see Flower Power. And this one happens to be in lime and yellow, and I already have preset other bathing suits that I'm going to do, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek, and that is as a thank you for staying here. So I am getting them from my baggie. I have them in my Ziploc bag. I'll show you in a second. I'm just getting them out carefully. So if you look at my Ko-fi shop, you will see these other colors. So I have them here on the side. This is a different variation with yellow and turquoise. I'll put it here. Yellow and turquoise variation. I have a couple of Skippers here, so I'm going to put it here on the side. So these are already pre-made in my little Ziploc bag. And I do have them listed. And if you want the pink, just let me know. And I'm going to lift this up so that we can have a little bit more. I have this other one that I have not done yet. And this is more of this look, which is turquoise. And instead of hot pink, which is the original, we have yellow, little centers. But I suppose that I could paint them hot pink with permanent fabric. And this other one that I already started working on is the very lovely hot pink. So this I already started working on. I just need to do the edge, and I have them still sewed in there. So I can't try this on a Skipper, but you can see the sample picture on my Ko-fi. So there we have it. We have this one coming up next, which is almost done. You can see I was able to try it on Skipper. This one I haven't done, and in the works is the hot pink one. And this one I have to totally sew them. And I already have my ribbons done. 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So I already have them set. So I want to thank you for joining me on this fabulous live stream of vintage Skipper German 8519 German exclusive Skipper bathing suit. So please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, a comment, and the share. The shares are helping my channel grow, and that's what I'm working on each moment of the day. Here is the hot pink one, and let's take another look at the vintage original hot pink. So it's a basic match to that. So you have a great weekend. It is Friday, and I am going to continue. I'm going to make, of course, some short videos, and I do have a 2D version. Let me see if I can find it. Where are you? Where is she? I wonder if I took it off. Let me see. Just give me a minute, and if I see 2D, I made a 2D version. My eyes are not helping me. I'm going to look over here. I did want to have it handy, but I think I'm going to have to do another video and see if I can find it. I can't find it at the moment. It's hiding. Let me see one more thing. Well, I tried. I really did think that I was going to be able to show you. So I probably have it tucked away. I want to thank you for joining me again and for sticking around. Look for the short videos and the following videos after this. Have a great one, everybody. Bye for now. We'll see you in the next video.